Hello, everyone. Welcome to It's Sybil. I am Sybil Wilkes, and most of the gang is all here. Hey, Matt, how are you?
I'm doing good, Sybil Wilkes. How you feeling?
I am great, great. Glad to see you. And Damon Williams, how you doing?
Doing great. Got a chance to get some yard work done right before the big rain that came for like 6 minutes and went away.
Well, it was a strong 6 minutes apparently because that's why Cameron Riley is unable to join us. He said he had some flooding in his basement in Chicago, so not uncommon, unfortunately, a rather common occurrence for
Yeah.
those of us who have done our time in the city of Chicago. But we will sally forth and wish him the best of luck in the bailing and cleaning out and mucking the muck out of your basement.
Yeah.
That is no fun job. Mad, what's new?
No.
What's the word? What's the haps? What's the goings on?
What's going on? We are talking about Birthday Bash a lot on the Morning Hustle, which is the show that I produce every morning. But
And explain for people who are outside of the Atlanta area what
Yeah, Birthday
birthday bash.
Bash is one of the biggest radio concerts in the country. The young lady Big Lotto is the headliner of said events, and it's looking like she's going to have a lot of friends come with her for her main event, if you will, and we're looking forward to that. Outside of that, it's just getting everyone's going out. Everyone is a host of Michelle Carlson tell you got a college student that he has to move out. It's like whatever. Every year around this time, it's always fun watching my
Right.
friends and their kids, or and they have to pick them up from school and bring them home, or it's always an adventure. But
Or
yeah, no,
hauling stuff off from the campuses of
absolutely,
Morehouse or Park
yes,
Atlanta and
yeah. His daughter goes to Howard, so she's a Howard student, and so yeah, he has to go up to DC, then go back to Chicago, then come back to Atlanta. So yeah,
ooh,
he's been having a great time with that. But the boat trip, you had two of my hosts there
I
on a
did.
fantastic voyage in the Caribbean, and so it's good to have them back on the show. So yeah, we're just kind of full steam ahead at this point.
I did get to see Alton and for a second, but folks are running and doing, and it wasn't as pressured and kind of a frenzy pace for me
Hmm.
on the cruise. But I did have a good time, and it was a good chance to catch up with a lot of people.
Yeah.
And Damon, you were missed.
Yeah, I missed it as well. To be honest, just to see Tom, and I saw George Wallace was there, and of course Marvin and my buddy Steve Brown. So that's cool. Hate that I had to miss it, and I probably always will. But hey, life is life, right?
Well, they tell us that was the last one, and then other people saying, "Oh no, there'll be more." I guess we'll have to wait and see. Uh,
Yeah,
Yeah, it's very interesting to see what the
it's
plans are going forward with that.
it's probably the last one that matters. How about that?
well,
Okay,
that is
yeah,
in terms of the Joyner Foundation and all of
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
yeah.
But it was good to see Tom. He looks well, and he was enjoying the music, of course, like nobody else can or does, except perhaps for you and your wife. You guys are quite the couple and enjoying the music and dancing and romancing and all that kind of stuff. It was a lot of fun to catch up with folks that I haven't seen in a very long time, and so it was kind of bittersweet to see folks and people are saying, I miss you on radio. I said, well, you can catch us,
Come
every
on now.
Monday through Thursday. Come on,
Third day,
every
except for
I
day.
tell people
Friday
that
and
all the
Sunday.
time that we still are. The band is semi together in
Yeah.
fragments in different ways. You can come and catch us. And I always see people from the cruises, not only
Yeah.
Joiner, but the Festival at Sea and now the Capital Cruise. So I was in DC last weekend and they came. No, I was in Orlando last weekend, my bad. And people came, but the previous weekend they came as well from just the cruisers, around the
Hmm.
country. So
Yeah.
it's always good. It's an extended family around the way. We put in the work for years and years for the Tom Joyner Foundation to put so many people through school, and I was happy to be a part of it as long as I possibly could. And I hope the work continues, and the people who received
Right.
um, scholarships are doing good things and giving back even further. So exponentially, we all had a party with a purpose.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I was glad to be a part of that with the art auction. I always like being a part of that. That's a lot of fun for me. And they set records, at least for the first part. I don't know about the second day. I was gone by then, but they set records on that Sunday. And so I was, very proud to be a part of that, and as always to work with Tom and the Tom Joyner Foundation. So it was a good time. It was, like I said, it was a really good time. And to J. Anthony Brown, for those that were wondering, Jay literally missed the boat Saturday, and but he did catch up with the boat in San Juan on Wednesday, and that's when we
Golly.
got off the ship. So I did not see him, and I hear that it was quite the homecoming for Jay, Myra J, and George
Yeah,
Wallace, and Mary Boyce, who was getting her comedy legs underneath her, and so uh,
nice.
they were all there together along with Huggy and Chris, and so it
Jay
was
was Jay was Jaying again.
Jay was being Jay Anthony Brown as only he can, as only he
I
can.
love Jay, but he will, he'll miss something if given the opportunity. So
I,
he finally did it to me once at Riddles.
uh-huh.
He said, man, it's your first one though, man. It's been years, because I've even replaced him on shows because he's missed stuff,
Right,
and he
right.
finally hit me with a cancellation day before or something like that, and we just laughed about it. I'm like, it's cool, Jay.
Well, you're very kind because it was a lot of people who were like, what the heck?" And it's like, it's Jay.
It's Jay.
Man,
It's
it
Jay.
might have been the pay.
Okay, look at the time. Um,
Yeah.
but it was a good time, and I look forward to it. And we had a lot of people who do watch us, guys, and say that they join us on the evening show. And so I said, tell your friends and subscribe to the newsletter as well, and join us Monday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. And a lot of folks, who were fans of ours on the radio show now listen to us on the regular. So
And they
and
get to see your lovely face.
aren't you kind?
And you
And
glowing today. You glowing. That cruise glow is on you.
got a little bit of sunshine. Got a little bit of sun.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
I don't know if that is from the Caribbean sun or the Texas sun because it was close. It felt like I think they said the heat index today was 100 degrees
Mm.
here.
Mm.
The BS
So
is back.
Yeah, but day-to-day life sun don't hit like recreational sun.
oh.
That is
Going in the store sun ain't like that laying on the deck sun. You know what I mean?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. So it was a good time, and I'm glad to be back with my boys, and hopefully Khameron will be able to join us next week once he bails out that basement. That is no fun. Trust and
No,
believe.
it is. I hope he has like a power sump pump or something like that because
Right.
I had to do this for my mother's basement in the city many times, but they finally restructured the old pipes over there, and that's what the problem was. So that,
And
and they cut down a humongous tree that I hated to see go in front of our house. That tree was probably 25 years or 50 years old when we moved there, and that was 50
Oh,
years ago. So
yeah.
you can imagine the size and scope of just the trunk. And my son and I were by my mom's yesterday, and we were like, "Man, see that big old hole? That's where the tree was." He like, "Yeah, I remember you talking about the tree before, because we tell stories over as we get older." Uh, he's like, "Yeah, I know how you feel about the tree, pops." Anyway, but I did get a chance to hang out with some black male educators from the Chicago Public School yesterday. They had a whole situation for young black males, middle school through high school. And my
Oh
son came
yeah.
with me and he spoke and performed one of his songs. So shouts out to Kareem and all the people and my girl Eve from Eve's Events who had me participate in
Oh,
the
Damon, that's great.
United Black Males Educators of CPS GAD luncheon yesterday. Hey,
All right, and we will talk about your favorite teachers or nurses this week. Nurses Appreciation Day and a
sweet.
week, and Teachers Appreciation Day today. So we'll talk about that in a little bit. Khameron is our young contributor on today's show, and he wrote um, about the demonstrations going on around the campus, major civil disobedience. And he said in recent weeks, waves of student led protests have surged across university campuses throughout the United States, demanding that educational institutions sever their financial ties with companies allegedly facilitating Israel's involvement in the conflict in Gaza. He wrote this story. I wrote the story previous, just on top of that, because of what we thought was a ceasefire agreement between Israel and Hamas. Hamas agreed to it. Israel said, not so fast. But the campuses have just been afire from one coast to the other, from California to New York, and maybe not Florida so much because the governor don't play that down there. But a lot of these schools and a lot of these schools at the end, as students are trying to study and prepare for finals and graduation. And as we reported, Columbia University has said their campus-wide graduation will not take place, but they will have the individual schools will have their graduations. But this is the same class, the class of 2024. Many of them 4 years ago did not have a high school graduation.
Yeah, that's very true. This
Wow.
we've been following this just the campus
Oh,
protests and how everybody is treating it differently. And
mhm.
you have Mark Lamont Hill's son, who he told him, "Hey man, go tear stuff up." But of course,
Yeah.
that probably wasn't the best wording. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, come on, you know better, pops. But I
Mhm.
understand your sentiment from Omar,
Yeah. Ilhan Omar's daughter.
whose daughter. This has been so interesting to watch because it's not just protests. They're doing encampments. They're
Yeah.
taking over halls. They're they're really making things tough for these universities who come on. If you think about most of these universities, the history of these universities, protest is part of the fabric of
Yeah.
not the country but these universities. And so to see the division that is caused because of this, and we know what the division is because of the topic. It's always
Mhm.
because of the topic. Like when it comes to protests, people are okay with protests if they agree with the protest. If they
Right.
don't agree with the protest, all of a sudden, protest is
Oh, the
wrong
world's
and
gone to hell.
it's
Yeah.
gone to hell, and these kids or these people are just breaking the law. But if it's something that you agree with, then it's like, hey man, keep fighting the power. Tear down the Capitol. So it's like,
But they don't mind tearing down the Capitol, but they don't want anything done to their ivory tower.
if you agree with the sentiment, if you agree with what the cause is, you have no problem with what anybody does. So
Right.
that's just how we look at things. But it's just been very interesting to watch how first of all the kids in these schools handle the situation, and then how the universities handle these things, and then how the police end up coming in and
Yeah.
clearing things out, especially like you said, Columbia, where they said it was a peaceful situation when actually there was a gunshot.
Yeah.
When the police shot the gun, shot one shot to start clearing
A warning shot, if you
a
will.
warning shot. It was like up in the air or whatever. But he shot his gun and is being investigated. And so it's been just like I said, it's very interesting to watch this whole thing because when it
Yeah,
comes to
here in Chicago, they just cleared an encampment at the University of Chicago,
Mhm.
and they did it overnight. And but the thing was, they used the university campus police because Chicago police did not want to intervene because they thought it might become too inflammatory. But the University of Chicago has the largest privately owned police force in the United States, if
Right.
not worldwide. My son, of course, gave me that little information.
you're right.
But it's also interesting that it's on college campuses, and of course, everybody wants to have their moment where they can look back and say they participated in and
Right.
such.
In
But
something.
there's
Yeah.
also counter protesters at these events, and that's been tricky, especially with the young lady at Mississippi that was
Yeah.
belittled by the racist taunts by those guys.
Mhm.
But then I'm just glad that they're keeping it on the campus because they had blocked the airport one week, and
Right. Yeah. And
that
nobody could get to
man,
Chicago
people have to
Airport.
walk from the expressway to the airport. It's already hard enough to get through airports. Look, don't do that again, please. Whatever you do, keep it on the campus.
Right, man. Look, I've seen other people when they like just blockade the expressway. I'm like, man, like there's a lot of people who really do not care about your cause and will willing to go to jail to get to where they
And
go.
have places important that they need to be.
Exactly.
You know,
It's yeah.
like Gate 7. Most of us already running late to the airport. We don't need
Right.
no type of disruption between.
Exactly.
I have my airport runs planned properly.
The timed out,
This
man.
ain't about Hamas or the Israelis. This is about making flights.
Right. Come on.
And some of these students, their parents were, or I should say, actually, their grandparents were a part of protests. I think it was last week. It was a week before last. It was the anniversary of the shooting of students on the campus of Ohio State back in the
Mm.
70s, and they were saying, we hope this doesn't happen. We want our students to understand the power of protest and things like that. But it makes a big difference. And I remember marching, but ours was a march for women's rights and equal pay. So we weren't marching across, or ripping any clothing off or anything like that. We weren't marching across Northwestern's campus. We were downtown Chicago, and we had the police, just making sure we were staying in the lines and not on the grass of Grant Park or whatever. But there's a lot of concern as to what's going to happen come August of this year when the Democrats come to Chicago,
Exactly.
and and the demonstrations that will take place. And they're kind of scared of the police in Chicago. They're scared of what the mayor is going to do or not do in Chicago.
There's no plan. There's no plan for any kind of protest.
That's what I'm saying.
Mayor Brandon said, "Look, man, if I just ignore this for a while, maybe it'll go away. Maybe it'll just go away." But the thing is, people are going to protest without your permission, with or without your permission. Like
Right.
they've not signed off on any of the protests or any of the marches that's supposed to happen during that time. And I'm just like, hey, man, whether you write it down and agree or not, it's gonna happen.
It's
So you better
gonna
have
happen.
some
With
kind
or
of
without
plan.
you.
It's coming, sir.
I
It
mean,
is coming.
society as a whole is unraveling. Like they had the Cinco de Mayo parades, and they had to shut those down because the essays were gangbanging against each other, so they had to stop the parade.
Antoine,
Public gathering, public events it's not what it used to be. I don't know what's going to happen at the Taste of Chicago.
And that's another one. Yeah.
It's a very concerning scenario that we live in right now. But if the best thing that could happen is that Israel would cease fire,
Yeah.
and that would help diminish all of this. And if America go ahead and puts the pressure on, instead of continuously saying we steadfastly support Israel, then it could all go away easily or safer.
It would help a great deal, Damon. You're absolutely right. And as a kid, in 1968, when the Democratic National Convention was held in Chicago, and I mean, real hippies, that's what they call the radical white kids, really did demonstrate against the war in Vietnam. And one whose father was called onto duty as a Chicago fireman, and setting fires, and the police and the mayor telling them to shoot to kill and things like that. Just, I mean, really vague memories of my mother, being very fearful for my dad's safety. I can only imagine what could come of this in the city of Chicago. It's like
I'm just curious, since you have that memory, did your daddy get to hose down any white kids?
No, they said, Wilkes, you stay away from that because you would blow them to kingdom come.
The irony of just letting him just hose some whiteys.
Right. And he needs a bath too,
Even though they were liberal and peaceful, but just the turn of play, just
exactly.
One time I want to see some footage of some whiteys getting hosed out. By Sybil's daddy.
Right. No.
You know what else I want to see footage of?
What's that?
The walk back from Montgomery to Selma.
Okay, we got here. Now, how we gonna get
How
back
It's
we
to
get-
well
our
documented going, but when they found out they had to walk back, it had to be some cussing. That had to
right?
be a very colorful. I would love to have seen them walking back from Montgomery to Selma.
Earthquake has that joke about the guys on 9/11 and how
Yeah,
they're like, how we okay, so here's how we gonna get there. How
right.
how you gonna come and get us back?
When do I
How
meet back up with you?
right.
Right.
I got it. I pick up the bomb. I take the bomb over there. When do I meet back up with you?
It's like we got to step A, but from A to B to C
Right.
is a little questionable. Yeah,
Did either of
so
you watch the Tom Brady roast?
Jesus Christ.
let's talk about that. Let's talk about that in a
Good. I
second.
just wanted
That
to
was
make sure that
ooh,
topic got talked about.
ooh, oh my gosh, and I can't wait to hear from you guys your thoughts on that.
Yeah.
Um,
Amazing.
So, and as I mentioned in the newsletter, I was also writing about this particular subject, and the frustrating thing with Israel is that not only they, flying overhead and they were dropping leaflets on this particular community in Rafah saying, "We're coming. You might want to move." As Hamas is, meeting with Egypt and Qatar and saying, here's our plan, and we're willing to go along, give these was it 33 hostages back, and and what do we need to do, and Israel's war council is saying nope, we're just going to go straight at them. We warned them. I don't care what they say, they're not to be trusted, and they commenced to bombing.
I mean, it's a bigger picture involved because Israel has a full scale plan of post war,
Yeah,
and they're not gonna cease what they're doing until they implement it, including a straight through the Gaza Strip that
right.
can be used for commerce. So this. I mean, we know it's smoke and mirrors. It's just like the conspiracy theorists who believe that 9/11 was planned so that we can invade Iraq. They know Israel knew about these attacks before they took place. They allowed it to happen. And now they have their full scale situation. They just needed something to spark it so they can justify this genocidal, homicidal task that they're fulfilling. I understand that they have hostages, but 33 people versus hundreds of thousands
Hundreds,
of people
yeah.
and millions being displaced, it does not seem like it's on par or fair.
The famine. I mean, the people that are starving to death. The aid truck still can't get through. The World Kitchen people are back to work in their volunteer status, but their lives are perilous as well. Their chances
Yeah.
of survival. And it makes a big difference when you lose that many people in your organization, and now people are like, we need you to go back and serve. It's a scary situation, and the fact that people are trying to parse out the difference between Israel and the prime minister of Israel. And now that's where, like Nancy Pelosi is like, we stand with the people of Israel, not so much with Netanyahu. He needs to resign. He needs to, stand up to his whatever the charges are against him and get him out of there.
This
But
whole this whole conflict is like a four-part situation.
hmm
There's the prime minister, Neti, there's Israel, there's Hamas, and
hmm
there's the Palestinians.
right,
And everyone wants this to be so black and white when it's not. It is absolutely, this is the most gray.
war is not easy. It's not
It's
black
not
and white.
easy, but this is the most gray situation you can possibly be in. You have people who just feel that everyone that's a Palestinian is for Hamas.
Right,
You know what I'm saying? And I get the history of the of the region, so I understand why they think some people think Hamas was necessary. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't think what they did was necessary, no matter what the situation was. But and they're a terroristic group. They got to go. I understand that, but I also understand that the Palestinians who aren't a part of that, because Hamas and Palestinian doesn't mean they're all together.
together, right.
They're all
There
have
are different
same mother.
factions
It's
within
different
the
faction,
faction.
and it's like you have to do what you have to do to separate it, because the thing is, you trying to say we're trying to get rid of Hamas. It's just you're just shelling everybody over there.
Right.
You're just shelling everybody, and then when it comes to Israel, there's Israeli people there that don't want this to be happening either, because
Right.
they understand what the downfall is and what the blowback's going to be. So it's like it's gray, but the people here, especially in our government, are just making it black and white.
Right.
We're with Israel. We're
And
against
because that's what
Hamas,
people
and that's it.
understand, and they don't understand the gray. We got to
Well,
move on to the next question, and we'll get back to this in trending. So our question of the day is today is Teacher Appreciation Day, and this is also National Nurses Week, and so we'd like you all to be able to give a shout out to your favorite nurse and or favorite teacher. And Ned, we'll start with you as
My
your favorite
wife.
nurse.
Yes. Yeah, my wife. Crystal, my wife, is shout out to her starting a new job that is absolutely so much fun for her. Huh?
Okay.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's just very funny because she has a new job. She graduated last fall as a nurse practitioner.
Mhm.
And so like doing nurse practitioner work is a little different than registered nurse work.
Mm.
There's a little bit more on the line when it comes to what she does. Instead of sending the information as a registered nurse to the nurse practitioner or the doctor to make the calls, she's now
Mhm.
making the decisions and making the calls for
That's a lot on her.
oh yeah, yeah. Like it was funny because I'm just like, hey, this is what we want. And she's like, I don't know if this is what I wanted.
Wow.
Because it's a little bit different because she's not as hands on as she used to be. Like
Mhm.
before, as a registered nurse, she was really hands on, had her patients at the place, and boom, she knew her people.
Sure.
Now she's traveling to different locations, checking up on people, and then she's charting. I
Mm.
didn't know. I had no clue charting was such a thing. I thought charting was easy. Oh no, charting is
You have to be very precise in that.
oh wow. And then guess what? They hit her up. They send tickets for her to check on things during. I was like,
Oh
oh,
wow.
this is
This is
this is
different.
very different for especially in our household. This is very different, but like I said, it's something that she's kind of new. This is new to her,
Mhm.
but she has to do this kind of work to continue to do what she wants to do when it comes to her own, eventually, hopefully, her own practice, if you will.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Hmm.
What about you, man? And Damon, uh, kids growing up, when I did, we all had nurses and we all had teachers in our families. And so, and even today with Med and his wife, being a nurse, but not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a family member, or it could be,
oh, I
you
have
know,
one. Yeah,
I know
yeah.
you do.
Just cause I'm ignorant don't mean none of my people went to school.
Oh
My
man.
sister Delinda is a registered nurse, and
Right.
I really want to shout her out because by her being a registered nurse, when we were checking on my dad and during COVID situations, she knew exactly the questions to ask, to pose,
Hmm.
and people of the same profession bond together. So she had access to him, to his very last moment. So I just wanted to thank her for holding down Pops, my sister Delinda Wakil Robinson. And then I want to shout out a teacher, my eighth grade teacher, Miss Mason.
Oh,
Miss Mason and Miss Naylor, they had adjoining classrooms. They were best friends, and sometimes we would interchange classes. And I just saw a post that Miss Mason celebrated her 85th birthday. So
oh,
shouts out to Miss
Hey,
Mason and Miss
happy birthday,
Naylor.
Mason.
Yeah, and Miss Naylor was the only teacher besides Miss Gilliam who could almost get it back then. Um, Now
from
the
eighth
boys
grade
have great
Damon.
appreciation,
Yeah.
for their teachers because they're young and beautiful. Back then, you had to be very selective of which teacher you thought might possibly look good to you. So, shouts out to Miss Naylor, Miss Nasa, and my sister Delinda.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Well, that's our question for today. Shout out to your favorite nurse, your favorite teacher, and we'd love to hear from you. Of course, as the daughter of a Chicago public school teacher, my favorite teacher was my mom, my first teacher. And also, once I got into school at Morgan Park Academy, I had a wonderful teacher in the fifth grade. And I don't know where Mrs. Hershenhorn is. Hershenhorn was her name. But she was an incredibly bright and enthusiastic and creative teacher, and encouraged us to be the same, and to do things outside of the box. And so after our class, she left teaching, and as I understand, she went into writing of children's books, which I thought was always a wonderful thing. Wherever you are, Mrs. Hirschhorn, I thank you. And as far as nurses are concerned, those were in my family too. My dad's best friends were Mildred and Glover, or Uncle Sonny Chapman. And Uncle Sonny was a policeman. Auntie Mill was a nurse, and she saved my mother's life when my mom was giving birth to me. Um,
Right.
because my mom's uncle Dave was her OBGYN, and they couldn't figure out what was the problem with my mother able to give birth to me. And my aunt stayed with my mom, and she went through 4 days of labor. I was supposed to be born on August 16th, and she was in the hospital from the 16th until the 20th, trying to give birth to me. And my aunt just persisted and persisted, say, go in, find out what's going on, and saved both our lives. And
Mm.
so, and now we have family members who are doing her work and continuing on, and a lot of nurses, and Carmen Bilheimer is another family friend who is now a nurse, and should really be retired by now, but she loves the work, and she's a good nurse, and she's a good people person. And so we all have those people, and just want to give them a shout out and give them their due, and add a girl or add a guy, in terms of, because everybody deserves that pat on the back and a thank you for.
Absolutely. And they called my dad was Uncle Sonny to all of my cousins
Is
and
that
such. So
right?
yeah, he was Sonny Boy. That was his. Everybody called
That
him
was
Sonny Boy. So
so. I
yeah,
had two Uncle Sonnies. One was Uncle Sonny, and my mother's brother was Sonny Boy, and so. I called him, and like my mother called him Sonny Boy, so I called him Uncle Sonny Boy, and he just
hmm.
hated it. He hated it.
Did your Uncle Sonny Boy have a Cadillac?
Yes, he did. Damon, I knew we were related. I knew.
Let's talk offline. Now you met my dad, so you know. Yeah,
Oh, I know. I know.
yeah,
I
you
know.
know who Sonny Boy was. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Absolutely. Absolutely. So Yolanda, do we have any folks that want to give their shout outs to folks? Uh, Deborah Clark Fairfax on YouTube. I taught special ed. Oh, God bless you. I taught special ed for 32 years, saved lives, and kept kids alive and out of the penitentiary. You deserve a round of applause, and a
Yes.
well deserved thank you.
Absolutely.
Oh my God.
Post your cash app.
Okay, okay.
Man.
Charlotte Bowen Bellamy on Facebook says Nurse Portia Geeter. She was there for my mother, and my favorite teacher was Ms. Wright, my 11th grade English teacher. Loved her. R.I.P. Thank you, Charlotte, for that, and for remembering the nurse and the teacher in your life. That's really awesome. Janice Eatman on Facebook. Shout out to my second niece, BJ Agua Hava.
Mm. Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, go Howard. Yeah.
Master Social Master Nurse, my aunt Mary Eatman, retired former head of pediatric nursing in Jersey City. Ooh, my sister Dr. Brenda, who is a full professor at Chicago State, and my sixth grade teacher, Mommy, and my soror, A.D. Bandon, who is 97 years young and a 75-year active member of AKA. Woo!
Means she's
That
still
is,
paying her dues. Yeah.
man, for real though.
Still paying her
Wow.
dues.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you so much for your service. Pamela Sullivan on Facebook. My mom, oh my goodness. My mom was a psych nurse, Pamela Sullivan says on Facebook. The story she told us. I bet
Mm.
she did. I bet she did.
While drinking and smoking at the table.
And playing bid whist. Yeah.
You don't understand. Today, let me tell you what happened today in class.
You're not going to believe this one. Sit down. Sit down. I got
Right.
another one for you.
Hey,
Pour
look
me
at
another
that.
shot of that JB.
Hey, calling my wife at work, just to hear some stuff in the background. I'm just like, I think they need you.
Right. Should you be talking to me right now?
Right.
I'm gonna get off the phone. I think they need you. I'm like,
I need this break more. You just keep talking. Wow. 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 Michael Dales on Facebook. My wife is one of the best school teachers in Virginia. Well, Mrs. Dales, I guess, is what we call her and what her students may call her. we salute you in Virginia. Thank you so much for your service in the classroom. We appreciate you. And if we have one more, Yolanda, let's wrap this up uh, as we finish our salute to teachers. I never thought it was fair that they were both in the
The
same
same
week.
week? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's messed up.
Yeah, Midnight Rider. Shout out to my baby sister Albertine, who is an RN, and my sister Gail, who is an English and reading educator in South Carolina. Bravo. And thank you
Absolutely.
for giving them both their props. We appreciate it. Thank you so much. We will revisit that, I promise. And
boy, did she have her work cut out in South Carolina.
oh my gosh. Just like the psych nurse. I mean, shoosh. Wow. Let's move to trending, guys. And Damon, what do you have coming up?
This weekend, Ameristar Casino this Friday. I will be back with Damon Williams and friends, and I have one of your good friends, two of them actually, Tony Schofield and Leon Rogers.
Hey.
Yeah, and Just Niche and more. And then Saturday, I'm shooting to Riddles to celebrate Marlon Mitchell's birthday. You guys may not know Marlon, but he's one of the favorites.
Is hilarious.
Of course you do. Yeah. Marlon is one of the greatest of all times. He's just a lovable dude.
Yeah.
It's his birthday weekend, he and Muhammad. And so that's what I'll be doing. Bang, bang, Friday, Saturday. Yeah.
That's going to be a good show.
It's going to be crazy, man.
How are things?
Because all the comments coming because we all love them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. How are things at the Chicago Winery?
City Winery, I go back to resume June 6th and then July 9th and then in September. Because August, I'm out of here all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's thank you for asking. And then there's also the Timeout Marketplace, which I pop in once a month, and it's only 75 seats. It's a rooftop, and it's a beautiful time too. So I'm doing all I can while I'm home for the warm weather, and then off to the races after August.
And will your time at Martha's Vineyard, will that be the full month of August?
Yes, it's the last weekend of July and 3 weeks into August, followed by a 17-day run with the Friends of Festival at Sea in France.
That's so awesome.
Right.
Yeah, we're doing 14 days on a French River cruise and then 3 nights in Paris. And that's all part of the gig. Yeah. I'll see y'all Labor Day after I leave in August or July, I should say.
Okay.
That's dope.
Just got to figure out the dogs. I don't know if the dogs got passports or not, because I don't think they could. If she could figure out a way to get us some passports, we might be taking them.
Okay. I know that's right. Yeah.
Med, so thank you for asking.
Of course. Med, you were mentioning the birthday bash. You got anything else happening?
Other than that, I just have a little beef with the security guard in my building at work. I don't want to get you in any trouble. No, it ain't me no trouble. I just had a little beef with her because she just tries to out-friendly me, and it's getting kind of annoying. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever met one of them people that are just so nice that it's like I walk into work and she sees me, she's like, "Good morning." Like, it's very loving and nice, and it's 4 a.m. and she's giving me all this love, and I respond kindly. I'm going to give the friendly back to her. Right. And then there's just, in my head, it's supposed to be, I go, you go, I like say thank you, and I go to the elevator. But she keeps going, and I'm like, if I keep walking without responding, I feel like an ass. And I'm just like, so I come back with something even friendlier to kind of close it out, and then he responds again. It's like, why are we doing this? Can you just stop? Let me go and let me be nice.
You just got to bring donuts.
That'll stop him.
Hey, good morning. You had us some donuts. She's like, "Oh, this is so nice of you." And choom,
and you're gone to the elevator.
Just want to go tell her, "Hey, ma'am. Hey, please. 1, 2, 3. We're done. We can't be the pleasantries. It's too much pressure. I don't like all that."
Oh, poor young man. Too
much pressure.
Can't be the only nice person in the world.
Yeah, just come on, man. Ease up. I'm like, come on. I only got so much material.
That small talk does run thin after a while. Yeah. Once you talk about the weather or the traffic, it was a madhouse coming in. Oh, I zoomed right in today. Supposed to rain. We might get a little rain today. Yeah.
Well, at least you didn't get it in your basement because my friend Khameron, I
Yeah.
did. I got all. Yeah.
And now you
Yeah, she's
start,
like,
you're
oh,
gone.
don't
Like,
let me start. Don't get me started on rain in the basement. Now you got 5 more minutes.
Speaking of weather, another round of storms hit the Chicago area Tuesday afternoon, bringing large hail, damaging winds, and warnings of possible tornadoes. That wave moved out of the area by 3 o'clock this afternoon. However, there remains of enhanced risk of tornadoes across southern Cook County and into northwest Indiana this afternoon into the evening. In the Midwest, we are very fortunate in Texas, in northern Texas, I should say, because we have missed a lot of this horrific weather, knock on wood. But it is Oklahoma has really caught it, and at least one person died, and widespread damage was reported after severe storms and tornadoes hit Oklahoma late last night into this morning. Some of the most significant damage was reported after storms hit Barnesdale and Bartlesville in northeastern Oklahoma, and the Barnesdale mayor confirmed that one person died after a tornado hit the city in northeastern Oklahoma late last night. This is also a dangerous time in, I don't know if you all have seen the flooding in the Houston area. It is awful. They have not had this kind of flooding since Hurricane Harvey. And I remember going down to Houston with Tom after Hurricane Harvey and how people had just suffered and the water just stood. It had nowhere else to go. And that's what people are dealing with now. And the danger of people wanting to get somewhere fast and going into a spot,
and be
and
sink.
losing their lives.
I was in Houston. I lived in Houston for 11 months.
Mm-hmm.
And when I tell you, it could drizzle and it would flood.
Yep.
Like I'd never seen anything like that before in my life where, I'm driving to work and I'm literally 10 minutes away, a couple corners away from my job, a little drizzle. I'm just like, where does this lake come from in the middle of the road? And it floods so easily. So when Harvey hit and that storm system just sat over the city.
Sat over. You're exactly
there's
right.
nothing they could have done. There's nothing they could have done with that. So Houston could flood so easily that any amount of rain is going to do it to them. But if it's any great amount of rain, they're in trouble. So
it's a concrete jungle, and there's no place for this water to go.
At
the
all.
Drainage is already overloaded, and so it's a dangerous situation. And I'm just really sorry. The stories that come out of there are just heartbreaking. And speaking of heartbreaking, the 6th victim's body was recovered at the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse site in Baltimore today. Salvage teams located the victim and notified the Maryland State Police. Investigators identified the victim, the 6th construction worker presumed killed in the collapse, Jose Minor Lopez. He was 37. The Maryland State Police Colonel Roland Butler Jr. said, as we mourn with the families, we honor the memory of Jose Minor Lopez, Alejandro Hernandez Fuentes, Dorleon Ronaldo Castillo Cabrera, Menor Yasir Suazo Sandoval, Carlos Daniel Hernandez Estrella, and Miguel Angel Luna Gonzalez. Those are all those these were the men that were doing the overnight patchwork on the bridge when the boat hit the channel, hit the bridge, and took it out. And they've been searching for them for now. What, Med? We're talking almost 2 months now.
Yeah. And I'm glad they were able to find this 6th person because can I be very honest with you? I'm just surprised. It's like I know they stopped a lot of the cars from getting on there, but I remember seeing the bridge collapse and I saw vehicles on the bridge go down, and for only 6 people that weren't in vehicles that were on the bridge working to have lost their lives is incredible to me, because I was just like, it was only, are y'all sure it's only 6? So it's that
was a miracle. And I'm not discounting the loss of their lives.
No, and I'm not either. And I do want to say that, because the thing is, finding the 6th person for that family, it meant something, because it's like they're not we don't know where they are.
Right.
And to have their body back, it means something to the family. So, again, condolences to everyone that lost their lives and to their families, but I'm just glad that we're able to find all of them and bring their bodies up.
And we travel across these bridges and take them for granted, not the safety or the structure, but the sheer ability to make those bridges. To restore that bridge, it's going to take until 2028 for completion.
2 billion.
Yeah, that's just these are miraculous things that we take for granted on a day-to-day basis in our lives. And I have a cousin, she's always been frightful of bridges. She always unlocks her doors before she enters a bridge. Like she's taught the kids, because she always had this phobia about crossing bridges. And I never get to my cousin Cheryl Nelson. And I was like, girl, I'm not gonna have this bridge. And now, you just never know. But yeah, just the engineering feat that they are. Yeah.
I've always thought that bridges were amazing, especially because most of these bridges ain't built around now. They were built years ago.
Long time ago.
You think about the Golden State Bridge, you think about all the bridges in New York and things of that nature, and especially down the I-95 corridor, all the bridges that you have there, it is
and
ridiculous.
Especially those in those cold climates.
Yeah.
Because that metal, it will rust.
Yeah.
And it will wear down. And
they were built before Z-Bart.
Yep.
Not Z-Bart.
You remember Z-Bart? It's us or rust, baby.
Oh man.
But our prayers then go to those people and to those that have to travel those roadways that are so dangerous and that are people that are fearful of that. I know that Yolanda's sister is one of those, and she is one of those drivers doesn't like to drive on the bridges or on on expressways, period. But I hadn't thought about unlocking your doors and as you go across, because you go across those spans. Like I lived in Southwest Florida, they had those spans all everywhere, and you just zoom across. You don't.
I didn't say it was a smart idea, because you can't even open your doors when that water pressure comes. You got to go out the windows, but she still always unlocked her doors.
Yeah.
And she had bridge preparedness.
I suggest people to get those
things that you knock the windows.
I have one of those tools where you can bust the windows out, and it also cuts your seatbelt off of you as well.
Yeah.
So
it's a combination of it.
Yeah. No, my dad got me that years ago.
And a lot of people have those already, and they breaking in cars with them.
That's right.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay. Well,
Especially
for those of us that are not breaking in, hopefully we'll have something to help us break out.
Right.
And God forbid that time should come. Some good news for Donald Trump today, as his hush money trial took on popcorn status. Were you ready for this? Stormy Daniels on the stand today.
Yeah.
But that was one part of Donald Trump's travails, was the Stormy Daniels trial. But his favorite judge that he appointed, Aileen Cannon, indefinitely postponed his trial regarding the classified documents. Remember, they went into Mar-a-Lago, found everything, spread out all over Mar-a-Lago, no security whatsoever. And he said that he had declassified all of these things. I declassified thee. So she has postponed this indefinitely, bringing good news to Donald Trump without resolving the disputes about the classified documents would be imprudent and inconsistent with preparations to present the case to a jury. She tentatively scheduled the trial to start May 20th, but removed that date without setting a new one. And she said that she would set a new date that takes into account Trump's right to a fair trial and the public's right to the fair and efficient administration of justice.
So after the election.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right. And we'll see where that goes. Today, Stormy Daniels got on.
Yeah.
She got on the stand.
Gave them details.
And gave the deets. I mean.
Yeah.
She talked about how they met, how he pursued her, calling her honey bunch, about their one and only sexual encounter in the missionary position, she said. and the fact that he did not use a condom with his nasty self,
raw
germophobic
dog.
self. Um,
And he said she reminded him of his daughter.
yeah, and he didn't have a problem with that.
No, he never has a problem talking about his daughter in sexual terms.
No.
It's
And
a
he
thing
said,
for him.
and she said, he was like old enough to be my father, and he compared me to his daughter. And she said,
This is what he wanted to do to his daughter.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
And talked about his relationship with Melania at the time. They had been married for just about a year, and said they don't sleep in the same room.
She doesn't like him. She doesn't like him.
Yeah, get away from me.
Oh, yes.
Well, that could have been a lie back then, but to his credit, that's what you would say. Well, we don't even touch each other.
She don't even sleep we have a loveless marriage,
it's all about the kid. But he probably didn't even have the kid yet.
Right.
No, he probably didn't have Baron yet.
Right. But
he was gonna have Baron though. She was definitely gonna make sure at least one time.
Was there. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, but wait a minute. 2016? Yeah, no, Baron was there.
It was 2006.
2006. Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah.
There it is.
2006, 2007.
Okay.
Yeah. So 2016 was when they were pursuing her for the.
That's what it was. Thank you.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, there it is. Got it.
So it was interesting. And then his people got up and they tried this lady named Necklace. She tried to hit her and hit her and hit her, but Stormy stayed true. And
she's like, I've taken more than this.
She's like calling him an orange
to the face.
And
wrong.
She said, and is it true that you want to become a porn star so that you can make money? She said, who doesn't want to make more money?
Yeah.
It's like, really? That's what you got? So
come on, baby.
The funniest part is they asked her, and is it true that you hate Donald Trump? She said, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Do you want him to go to jail? And she said, if he's found guilty, absolutely.
I need him held accountable. She answered with a nice political answer with that. But yes, I hate his guts. How about that?
Okay. And he's not nice. So it was very interesting conversation there in New York City in court today.
So she did both her testimony and cross-examination?
They did cross-exam. They did the direct in the morning with the prosecutor's office, the DA, and the cross-examination in the afternoon. And now tomorrow is Wednesday, so they have the day off. And if there is more to be done, it'll continue on Thursday. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm going to move to entertainment because this really amused me. Snoop Dogg puts his money, his mind, and his money on a bowl, a college football bowl game. Mm-hmm. The newly renamed Snoop Dogg Arizona Bowl, presented by Gin and Juice by Dre and Snoop, is the first NCAA football bowl game with the alcohol product as its title sponsor. What has the world come to?
It is. I was thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, well, it's not the only one, but no beer.
No beer.
Yeah, I
no
feel
beer.
Like maybe not though, but we know plenty of beer to this place.
For sure. I mean, we got Totito's Bowl. We got
there's never been a Budweiser bowl of any sort. Seemed like it should have.
I was like, I'm surprised at the first, and it has to be Gin and Juice.
Well,
thank you.
But this is, I'm not sure if it's hard liquor. Maybe that's the distinction.
Maybe
with Gin and Juice.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I don't. But now that I think about it, I don't remember an alcohol bowl. There's been a lot of other bowls, a lot of weird bowls, but
well, you know what's coming? The Snoop Dogg Chronic Bowl.
The Chronic Bowl.
Oh no, that's coming. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that didn't start it, but I guess they got to kind of ease into it. Gin and Juice.
Yeah, exactly. They started with the appetizer, but they covered with the Chronic. Oh, it'll probably be sponsored by him and Martha Stewart.
Come on. The Martha Stewart Bowl. I like it.
She got the dirt bowl because she's a dirt nerd. So I kind of love it. And then on the other hand, I'm like,
right. Is that the right message?
Yeah. But,
hey, no, I want to know what the kids get.
Exactly.
What do the kids get in the big bag of the Gin and Juice? What do they get in the Gin and Juice Bowl? Because if anybody who doesn't know, the college bowl games are basically worthless games at the end of the year that no one really cares about unless it's a part of the playoffs. But these kids get to play an extra game at the end of the year if they've won 6 games or more, and they're invited to one of these bowl games. And the perks are for most of them, especially if they go to a nice area or whatever, if they get basically a vacation and they get merch. They get merch, they get gifts and everything from the sponsors. And with it being gin and juice, I want to know what are they giving these 18, 19, 20-year-olds?
They're going to give a bowl of Snoop Dogg Chronic.
And Arizona is already a party school state.
Yeah.
I'm not. They don't have to give.
I'm not sure what the weed laws are, but yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't get it, their parents will.
Absolutely.
Wow. So that's going to be December 28th in Tucson. For those of you who want to make your travel plans now,
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Let's close out with our jewel, gentlemen. Being financially responsible requires the discipline to do what you got to do to get what you want, like sacrificing wants for needs. Is that today? Seems like that was yesterday.
Yeah, that's Stormy Daniels' mantra.
I'm so glad to be back with you guys. I appreciate you. I missed.
Oh, we didn't talk about the roast.
Okay, just go watch it. If you have 3 hours, I have to watch it.
And know that they've done some editing on this
after the live.
Since it went live,
it's still 3 hours though, right?
It's thereabouts, but they took some stuff out.
All you need to watch is Kevin Hart's opening, and when he talks about Tom Brady's and his wife.
The first 15 minutes will have you on the floor.
That's all you need.
I was shocked.
Wow. and we're not going to see the booing of Kim Kardashian.
Oh, we're not going to see that anymore? That out. Ooh, that was tough.
They took that out.
And Robert Kraft, massage, that's gone?
No, I don't think so. They don't. Yeah. And they don't care about Giselle. They just,
Oh, no. Giselle got it.
They're just so, worried about Kim Kardashian.
Yeah, Giselle got it. Oh, Tom wasn't worried about Giselle either.
Oh, he was not concerned at all.
He was like, hey,
but you can't tell concern because he has that plastic surgery face.
He and Ben Affleck.
What are you doing, guys?
Man, got it in. Okay, but we'll continue the conversation.
Look, I thought Tom looked crazy.
Holla.
Man.
The realest look was on the coach's face. Bye, everybody.